She was sitting in a dimly lit cafe in Edinburgh, the kind where the cold seeps through the windows and the smell of coffee barely covers the weight of exhaustion. Outside, rain tapped against the glass, and inside, a young mother hunched over a battered old typewriter. Her baby slept quietly in a pram beside her, unaware that the woman fighting tears was about to receive her 12th rejection letter. Joanne Rowling, divorced, jobless, and surviving on welfare, stared at the letter in silence. Another number. Another door slammed shut on her dream. The world saw her as just another struggling single mother, but what they didn't see was the fire that still burned inside her. She once said she had been as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. And yet, even in that moment of defeat, something inside her refused to die. Most people would have given up after so many failures, but not Jo. She folded the letter, tucked it away, and opened her notebook once more. Because deep down she believed that this story, the one about a lonely boy with a lightning scar, was meant to change her life. That cold, rainy night, she couldn't possibly have known that those 12 rejections were not the end of her story, but the beginning of a legacy. A legacy that would transform her from a struggling mother in a cafe to one of the most successful authors in history, a billionaire whose words would define a generation. J.K. Rowling's story didn't start in a palace or a mansion, but in a humble village in England where little Jo was the epitome of a bookish child, short and squat, thick national health glasses, living in a world of complete daydreams. She knew even as a girl that she wanted to be a writer. In 1990, as a young adult, that imagination exploded. On a delayed train from Manchester to London, Rowling sketched out the entire saga of Harry Potter in her mind. Tragically, that same year, her beloved mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and died on New Year's Day, 1991. Rowling later said that losing her mother was the single worst day of her life, and that grief would later infuse the pages of her books. By 1993, Jo had moved to Portugal, married, and given birth to a daughter named Jessica. She named the baby after one of her heroines, journalist Jessica Mitford. But life was unkind. Her marriage fell apart, and Jo returned to Britain with half a suitcase, full of papers covered with stories about Harry Potter. Back in Britain, now Joanne Rowling was writing furiously whenever she could find the time. She tapped out her novel in overcrowded cafes, often with baby Jessica asleep at her feet. It wasn't easy. We were on welfare, Rowling later said of those years, for a couple of years. In fact, she once admitted, "I couldn't have written this book if I hadn't had a few years where I'd been really as poor as it's possible to go in the UK without being homeless." Poverty, loss, and a head full of magic ideas defined her early struggle. The fight was far from over. Joanne now had a finished manuscript of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but finding someone to publish it proved brutal. One by one, 12 different publishers rejected her novel. Each no stung. One editor even bluntly told her she needed to get a day job because it was impossible to make a living writing children's books. When she did find an agent, the Christopher Little Agency, they sent out the pages and got nothing but rejection after rejection. Her own editor at Bloomsbury, Barry Cunningham, recalled meeting her and warning, "You'll never make any money out of children's books, Jo." Imagine hearing that at your lowest point. By her mid-20s, Jo was fighting depression so deep she later confessed to having suicidal thoughts. She was on welfare with an infant to feed. Secretarial jobs paid just £15 a week. Any more, and she'd lose her government benefits. In fact, a friend had to lend her money just so she could leave welfare and enroll in college without starving. All the while, the world of Harry Potter was gestating in her notebooks, napkins, and even the backs of airplane sick bags. Yes, Rowling herself later revealed she once wrote the names of the Hogwarts houses on the back of an aeroplane sick bag when she ran out of paper. She drew on every personal heartbreak. Harry's orphaned parents echo her own loss. The soul-sucking Dementors were inspired by her own depression. Still, after a dozen rejections, her novel felt like a story no one wanted to read. Everything changed in 1996. A small London publisher, Bloomsbury, finally agreed to give her book a chance. The deal almost didn't happen until fate intervened in the form of an 8-year-old girl. Bloomsbury's chairman had his young daughter read the first chapter of Harry Potter. When she immediately demanded the rest of the book, the editors saw the spark they'd been missing. Barry Cunningham offered Rowling a contract that spring of 1996. Suddenly, Joanne, who had once been told to find a day job, had a publisher. On 26 June 1997, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone hit shelves in the UK. The first printing was tiny, just 5,650 copies. But the breakthrough was more than just numbers. Rowling's turnaround was rapid. The book won awards and climbed bestseller lists. Across the Atlantic, Scholastic bought the US rights and, to Jo's astonishment, paid $105,000, enough for her to buy her first home in Edinburgh. Arthur Levine at Scholastic even suggested changing the title to Sorcerer's Stone to appeal to American kids. The first Harry Potter movie deal followed, and Rowling made sure she kept control. She insisted the film stay true to her books, and that she have final script approval. In the span of a year, Rowling had gone from sobbing over rejection letters to fielding Hollywood offers. Success within a decade. The world J.K. Rowling had conjured in cafes became a $25 billion media empire. Harry Potter books have sold over 600 million copies worldwide, making them the best-selling book series ever. The films, a Broadway play, video games, theme parks, countless merchandise. They followed one after the other. Rowling herself became, by her own account, the first author to earn over $1 billion. Every picture of her on release day, like the one above from the 2007 Deathly Hallows launch, showed that same woman who once sat in a cheap Edinburgh cafe. But now she stood on a stage of triumph. Through it all, Rowling never forgot her struggles. She became a philanthropist, funding hospitals and literacy programs. By 2025, Forbes estimated she had donated over $200 million to charity. She even took pride in the label she once felt stigmatized by. As she wrote, "I am prouder of my years as a single mother than of any other part of my life." Today, this former welfare mum sits in the world's billionaire clubs, using her wealth to build schools for deprived children, her Lumos charity, and battle issues she cares about. Rowling's journey is full of purple cow surprises. A first novel started on a napkin, literally. A boy wizard born on a train, the Hogwarts houses dreamed up on a sick bag, and a single mother who turned personal pain into universal magic. She was constantly told no, and yet each no made her resolve stronger. J.K. Rowling's story proves that sometimes the most magical success comes only after walking through the darkest tunnels. Her journey wasn't written in the stars or handed to her by luck. It was carved out through sleepless nights, heartbreak, and the courage to keep writing when the world kept saying no. She turned rejection into fuel, pain into purpose, and imagination into an empire that touched millions. Rowling's life reminds us that the path to greatness rarely looks glamorous. It's messy, uncertain, and full of doubt. Yet those who persist, who keep creating, learning, and believing, eventually find their breakthrough. Her success wasn't a fairy tale. It was a story of grit, resilience, and the power of one woman who refused to let failure define her. From sitting in a cafe with a baby stroller and a pile of rejection letters to standing on global stages as one of the most successful authors in history, Rowling's journey embodies hope itself. She didn't just write about magic, she created it, word by word. So if her story inspired you today, take it as a reminder that your own breakthrough might be closer than you think. Maybe you're just one decision, one risk, or one more attempt away from changing your life completely. If you found value in this story, subscribe for more inspiring journeys, comment your biggest dream below, and share this video to remind someone else that even after 12 rejections, the next page could still lead to magic.